Welcome back to the show. Welcome to the SmackDown Motel. Time to check in. As Noel would say, the panel is assembled. The Avengers are here, as he would say. And we're here to talk about SmackDown, what went down. We might talk a little bit about WrestleMania as well. Well, I think it'd be rude not to on the road to WrestleMania. We are 1 week out, as of today, 1 week out from WrestleMania Night 1. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we do, we'll get into SmackDown. However, we have a full panel. We have Keith and we have Emma making her triumphant return. Keith, I know how you are. I spoke to you this morning. Emma, what's the crack? How are you? What's the
I'm not
crack
too
down?
bad. I'm not too bad coming to you from Galway, where it's very
The,
windy.
the greatest city in Ireland. I'm not
Yeah.
from Galway. I'm Dublin, but the greatest city in Ireland is, of course, Galway. Keith, all messing aside, how are you, my friend? Are you all good?
Good, good. One more week till WrestleMania, so I'm looking forward to that.
Woo.
Yeah, well, I mean, from talking to Keith this morning, he has one or two things to say about a couple of things.
Mm,
So let's get into SmackDown. SmackDown got a bit of a mixed review online. It's getting bashed on one side, and then there's some people saying no, but the promos are good. I'm I'm a little bit on the fence, which we'll get into. But before we do, SmackDown opened with basically Cody doing his little walk in as he does, because Cody is one of the best. He's one of the best at it. Nick Aldis, of course, comes out of it. Nick Aldis is getting on the tits of a lot of people. Nick Aldis comes out and says, "There's somebody above my head that's telling me, you know how it is, Cody. Somebody above my head is telling me you're not allowed to touch Pat McAfee." And they kind of touched on it
The
in the
Rock.
promo. I need you our opinion on this, Emma. We haven't heard from you in a little bit, other than the women's show. So talk to me. What is your? Do you have an opinion on this? Are you kind of wait and see? Where are you?
I'm just I cannot get into this whole thing. I think it's just because with the whole like Pat McAfee or whatever, but if it's like someone above him and stuff, I want it to be like a big surprise, like a big shock. I've seen stuff online where it's like, what if it's like Shane Mack or something, or like what if, like someone was like, what if Triple H comes out and starts like wrestling?
Stephanie,
And I was like, I don't know. But I think the whole Stephanie thing, that actually kind of got me excited. That was before the whole Pat McAfee thing. But when Stephanie came out, I was like, Stan and Grace, I'm never gonna. I was like, yes, this is great. I love her. But I don't like, I just really don't know because I feel like it could be a great big surprise. But then at the same time, it's like, it's WWE. Come on. It's probably like, I don't know.
Well, WWE tends. I think what you're getting at there is WWE can tend to fumble things, as they have done, and it's kind of like peaks and valleys. What I will do is just something that you said there. To anybody that said it, and I know you know this, Triple H is not putting on the wrestling boots again. He's
No.
just not.
no,
It's not
no,
like it's not like
Not
it's
no.
not like they did a miraculous operation and fixed his neck. Triple H, to my knowledge, has a heart issue. He's not wrestling again, and that's cool. Uh, Keith, what say you?
The start of SmackDown was okay. Like I think what they're going to do is, I think it's going to be The Rock. I just have a funny feeling it's going to be The Rock that's going to come out because he still has beef with Cody. If people forget about that from what, a year or two ago, so I wouldn't be surprised if they push the panic button and ask The Rock to come in to boost the ratings and all this or whatever for Mania. That's what I think it
Hmm.
could be.
I could
Well, he
see that.
mentioned he does mention in his promo later on somebody more bigger than you, CM Punk, which we'll get to. Emma, I'm very interested to know your opinion on that, and we'll even do a raw rewind. Let's
Oh,
try talk properly for the rest of this.
that promo.
We'll Yeah, we'll do a bit of a rewind and learn how to talk. Um, but I think the way he's talking, it could be The Rock. But didn't Adam Pearce say they're going to break the walls down just before Raw in around January, and they didn't break the walls down. The walls were broken down on Dynamite 2 months later. So you just don't know. You just don't know. But look, we'll get into the promo now in a few minutes. Before we do, Rhea Ripley comes out. And oh no, you found my weakness. You found my weakness. Io Sky is my weakness. Does all that, right? I love Rhea. I absolutely adore Rhea. Io comes out. Pretty cool, nice and quick opening. I nearly call him Adam Pearce. Diet Coke. The Diet Coke to Adam Pearce comes out, as some people are calling him. What did Pat McAfee call him? He called him something. Oh, foreign Adam Pearce is what he called him. Mwah. Nick comes out, makes it official. We will touch on that. Let's go to the first match. The first match being, and Emma, I'll hand this one to you, Bailey versus Alexa Bliss. I've one or two things to say on it. What did you think overall?
Oh, I wanted Bailey to win just because hometown, like, come on. I think Bailey deserves her flowers. And that's nothing against Alexa
Hmm.
Bliss. Alexa's brilliant. We've seen her on SmackDown a lot. But I think to bring Bailey onto SmackDown in her hometown, let her pick up the win. Because she is amazing. She
Yeah.
deserves all the flowers. The match itself, like, I enjoyed it and stuff, but I think just the ending, I was just a bit, it was almost deflated then. Because, like, I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of wrestling fans that watch it were rooting for Bailey to win. Because I feel like the wrestling fans that, like, know how great Bailey is, seen her from the start, like, they know that she deserves this a lot. She's
Hmm.
amazing. So, yeah. Like, it was, the match itself was good, but I think just the ending just kind of deflated it for me. I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, look, to your point, and let's face it, the commentators were not shy about mentioning this, and they kept mentioning it. It's Bailey's hometown, the hometown hero, and it was very, very old WWE esque. Those, and we've been talking about the Attitude Era a lot in the group chat, but those who remember when, like say Jr. It's a classic example. Would go to Oklahoma. They'd make a holy divine show of him.
Yeah.
They'd make a show of him, and or the hometown hero would often lose under the McMahon era type thing. The other thing about it is, and Keith, I'll get to you now in a sec. Before I do, because I'm going to say this to see what you think. I think Bailey's on the way out. I said it on Pro Wrestling Weekly. I'm saying it now. I think it's unfortunate. Bailey deserves better. She deserves much better. She's super talented. She's incredible to watch. She's fantastic on the mic. And actually, she ticks all those boxes. And there's other people getting a bigger spotlight, other women getting a bigger spotlight that Bailey would fit into and deserves more. And I dare say, and look, I know I have you here. We don't have Sean O here to defend it, but Bailey deserves the spotlight that the Bellas are getting, for example.
No, I completely
Uh,
agree.
100%. She deserves it, and even Jade Cargill. I mean, look, we'll talk about Jade Cargill in a few minutes, but Bailey shouldn't have lost, and I do think Bailey's on the way out, and it's an awful shame that
My
she lost. Go on.
sorry. No, my whole
No,
thing
no,
is
fire
that,
away.
when Nikki Bella came back and they were all thanking her, like, oh, thank you, you did so much for women's wrestling. Where's the thanks to Bailey? Because she has done a lot for women's wrestling. She has created her own, like, wrestling camp for women. She had flown them out and stuff and whatever,
100%.
and she got John Cena to meet them. And, like, she always posts about it. She made, like, a little documentary and stuff. She's always promoting it. So, I don't know.
I will say this: a couple of weeks ago on Pro Wrestling Weekly, I did say, "Oh, this is going to be now is DQs and a big brawl at the end, and it's just going to be different variations." They've proved me wrong in the last 2 weeks. They've been decisive wins, which is refreshing to see, and good matches, I have to say, all round. And basically, there's no brawl, but there will be a brawl next week. There's going to be a couple of brawl outs on
Mm.
SmackDown next week, which we'll be covering before the watch along live, the WrestleMania watch along next week. Keith, what did you think?
I'll get to, well, I thought it was good, but I have a question as well in this. I actually enjoyed the match, and I agree with what Emma was saying. I thought Bailey should have won, but do you think the reason they gave it to Alexa and Charlotte is because they haven't been given the upper hand in this kind of feud at the moment? It's kind of been given to like Nia Jax and then somewhat to Bailey and all that throughout the last couple of weeks. So that's the reason why they did it, just to make them look
You
strong enough for it.
But you want to talk about not being given the upper hand? What about having your WrestleMania opportunity taken away from you last year?
No, 100%. No, I'm
What
not
about
saying
being
that.
what about being treated like to be honest, she's been treated like crap and she doesn't deserve
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
That
her reaction to the whole John Cena thing as well, that kind of spoke volumes. Like, I remember seeing a video of her reaction when John Cena lost and stuff. I think she was not happy as well.
I think she'll go on and face
100%.
Lyra after this. Lyra twin heel, and I think they'll have a feud then.
And it could
That,
be and to me that's Bailey. That's Bailey kind of riding out a little bit. That's
mm,
my
Yeah.
opinion. I think Bailey's on the way out, and that's unfortunate. And Emma, you bring up a great point. Bailey loves this business. She
Yeah.
always has loved this business. And I dare say Bailey does not see this business as a springboard to Hollywood.
No, definitely
Does
not.
not see
No.
this business as a springboard to another poxy reality. Oh, I said it. Another poxy reality TV show. He doesn't see it like that. He's up there with the likes of Rhea Ripley, who's passionate about this business, who wants to continue on the wrestling business. And by the way, those men wrestlers who see it like that as well, who I don't agree with. I don't want to turn around and say, well, the women just see it like this. Those men wrestlers, and I'll get to them. We will get to them. But like I said, it's very, very much kind of she deserves a lot better. Good question, Keith. But like I said, I mean, you want to talk about somebody who had opportunities taken away and somebody who hasn't really had the upper hand for a while. So, but come here,
At the
let's.
end of the day, lads, it could be a stellar match. It could be a show stealer of a match. We don't
It
know
will be.
yet. Do you
It will
know?
be.
Will be.
The
Yeah.
women are going to smash WrestleMania again every
It should have been.
year on
I
year
feel this
since
match should have been a ladder
2017.
match or a TLC match. To be honest with you,
Doesn't need it. I don't think it needs it. I think these.
I think it would have been good for a ladder match or something. That's just me.
No,
But
and look,
I
fair
see
enough.
what
If
you
they,
mean.
you what?
I see what Keith means.
Oh,
I do.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
the
Yeah,
women,
I mean,
they're just gonna knock it out of the park.
yeah. Keith, you're not wrong in what you're saying. Like, there's no right or wrong here. I think the women have this. I don't think they necessarily need the gimmick. And actually, I did think it was going to be a ladder match, to be fair. But let's move on to somebody who just has it. There's no dispute. This man can could have could have promo in the back, come to the ring, could have killer promo again. I'm talking about the lemon pepper stepper. Did I get that right? The
Yeah,
lemon pepper stepper.
lemon pepper steppers,
Uh,
yeah.
Trick Williams, absolutely
brilliant.
phenomenal. And even the lad Little Boat, he had Little Boat again with him in
Lil
the
Yachty. Woo!
Lads, I don't like him with little
Oh,
Yachty.
I love it. No, I love it.
I don't.
I will say, the little yacht fella. He was very good in the ring promo. Then later on, and also he wore a gingerbread man T-shirt.
Yeah, I
It
laughed at
has to
that
be
when I saw
pointed
that.
out.
Yeah.
That was
They
good.
got a bit of a lol. I'm not down with the
He,
lingo, but they
he's
got a bit of a
always
lol.
like he's always at wrestling shows as well. Like he always posts about wrestling. Like I've been
Was he?
following him for years, and he's like a huge wrestling fan.
Well, actually, the last time I spoke with Emma, Emma had to educate me in who this who this fellow was, and I appreciate the
Very good.
education. In fact, Emma had seen him live, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But look, this is where the Cardona match gets set up later on. But can we move on to something even better? Probably a highlight of SmackDown. Drew McIntyre in the prison cells.
That was
Good
brilliant.
Jesus.
That was
There was
brilliant.
one line that got like as a father, right? If I heard it as a father, if somebody said to me, "Yeah, you went away for a few weeks, say prison or maybe another place for a few weeks, and your children were starving," I'd want to murder them. I'd want to kill them, and that's why this is beautiful because I felt it. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna kick your head in, Drew. You're gonna get it, Drew. You're in trouble, Drew." And I felt it. I was like, "This is phenomenal. This is deadly." What did you think of that promo,
I
Keith?
loved it.
What did you think of the promo?
I loved it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant from the start to finish. What they did with it, no one can beat the WWE when it comes to promos and to packaging like that. And I know AEW itself has good promo packaging and all that, but you can't do it. You can't outdo WWE when it comes to this. They're just in a different league of their own.
Emma, how did you feel watching this?
Honestly, chills. It was brilliant. I was like,
It's so
okay. I was like,
But
okay, I'm
lads, can I
excited
just say
now.
this? I had a discussion with Sean O about this in the group chat, and he said that he wanted Julia and Tiffany in. And I agree because I do love the two of them. I think they're great, and it's a shame that they're not at WrestleMania this year. But I asked him, "Who are you going to take out for it?" And he said Drew and Jacobs. Like, why? This is like one of the best things to watch on SmackDown.
So I seen that in the group chat, right? And I completely, utterly, and wholeheartedly disagree with Sean. But obviously, Sean is tired. Sean worked his arse off every day, and obviously he was tired when he said that. So I'm going to give Sean a pass on saying that because, and look, wrestling is objective as well. It's very objective. There's no way I take that. I think that match is pivotal to WrestleMania success. In fact, they have it advertised to be on within the first hour of Saturday night. That's how confident they are in that match because it's free on ESPN. But um, I clearly wouldn't remove it, but it was phenomenal. Everything about it, and he then later on he gave the big boss man beat down, which we'll touch on. But before we do, Jacob Fatu seen this. He's a cool relationship with Kathy Kelly, by the way. It's deadly. And then Solo comes out And Solo brought up something. He says, "Isn't this the place? Isn't this where you got attacked? And the last time you were here, you got laid out." And I was like, "Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Do not bury that. If this is another Raw, like if this turns out to be Hornswoggle, I will drop kick my laptop out the window and WWE can get effed because that's bullshit. Thanks for bringing it up." And he's dead right. But the key to that promo was Tamatonga. Because he just kind of looking and saying, what you talking about, Willis? He's like, what do you think is going to happen here? And of course, the match is made. What do we think, Emma? I'll go to you here. What do, like that promo? What do you think about Tamatonga? Kind of, they kept referring to him as the bad soldier here. Do you think there's a split up? Is there a divide? Hopefully he stops wearing that poxy face paint. But what did you think?
I really hope that there's a split up because I think Tamatonga has definitely the abilities to be on the singles card. Like we've seen his little interaction with Shinsuke and stuff, and I just think even just for him to leave, like that would cause a little stir. That would kind of swindle the MFTs a bit, create that bit of disruption. It's something different, and I think that's what they need is like a refreshing, this kind of difference thing. If they're not going to break up completely, at least have one kind of like exiled away, and then have that go on to something.
I tell you what, we don't need. We don't need another match with the Wyatts, but we're gonna bleed and get it next week.
This has to end it. This has to end it.
Keith,
I don't know.
what did you think of what do you think of Tamatanga? Is he going solo?
I think it's been a good build up. It's been a good build up for him looking to leave. Anyways, they've been doing a good job with that. It has to be. They have to do it next week. I think. Just end this, please. Just dear God, I'm just so sick and tired of this Wyatt. And like it has to end now.
Well, something's a brewing anyway. Go on. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I just think then just move on then after this because like it's been going on for like 6 months now at this stage. So get rid of it, move on. After WrestleMania, it's a new season. Start a new rivalry if it's going to be Rice Keys, but we look like it's going to be on SmackDown. I don't care. Just do something different from the Wyatts. That's all I'm asking.
What a great segue into Royce Keys.
Yeah.
Because and look, another old school reference. Was brought up by Wade Barrett, a British bulldog. He said a Davy Boy Smith running Power Slam, and it's not the first, in my opinion, old school.
But don't forget his promo he had where he came back from his background and all. That was good.
Yeah, no, the promo was really cool.
Yeah.
I think the match it was good just to have him there. The spine buster, the quick match, it was good as a reminder just to say, you know what, Powerhouse, Royce Keys is still here. He's not only here, but I think let's light a rocket under his arse going into the new season of the WWE after WrestleMania. Let's freaking do it. I mean, I think I can speak for us all. We're all very, very excited about the future for Royce Keys. I didn't like the name until I heard the reason as to why the name is in place. And if you haven't seen the reason, look it up. It's very, very cool. It's a nice little touch. And now I'm all in for Royce Keys.
Yeah, I just think build him up, I think, for the next couple of weeks after Mania and then just go with whoever he's going to face after that. I don't know. It looks like it's Solo by the looks of it, but...
Yeah. I saw something online and it was like someone said I don't think he belongs on SmackDown. I think he should go to Raw.
No, he does need to be on SmackDown.
But, yeah. Someone was like, I think like Raw kind of needs him almost. It's like, the big like powerhouse and stuff, like just have like they were like, I think he'd be more suited for Raw. What do you guys think?
I think personally SmackDown because SmackDown needs that more star power compared to Raw. Raw's always going to get the star power players in.
Are you saying there's more of an opportunity for him to be a superstar on SmackDown? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think.
Do you not
he
think
won't be overshadowed by
the Raw roster?
No, he would, but I just think he won't be overshadowed a lot more compared to when you have the likes of the Oba Femis, CM Punks, and all these lads that are going to be there. Like I think it'd be a good build up for him, and then eventually move him on if you wanted later on this year. Maybe after SummerSlam to Raw if you want to do that. Let's just face it, no one cares about the draft. So, they just switch whoever they want to switch. But I think keep him on SmackDown. It'll just build him up a lot better. And they need the star power.
It's a good point you made, Emma. To be honest, I don't mind where he is. I think wherever he goes, I think he's gonna do well. I think he's gonna smash it. I hope. But then we know half of that's down to the WWE. And as long as they don't kind of pigeonhole them like they did with Gunter, or give them something silly like they did with Gunter that they're backing away from very quickly. But that's the Pro Wrestling Weekly. We'll touch on that next week. So come here and I tell you, as I always say, Pat McAfee came down and cut the promo. I thought, listen, I'm still, and Niall's going to give me stick for this. Look, Pat McAfee's the wrong guy in my opinion, but this promo was lightning, right? And I don't think that's a contradiction. I think you can look at the situation and you can say the situation isn't right, but there's parts of the situation that are deadly to watch. Pat McAfee coming out, and the first thing he says to Jelly Roll is, "You shouldn't be here," which is brilliant. He did a reverse Uno. He said, "You shouldn't be here. I should be here. No outsiders." And he called them belly roll and all that. But I thought this promo was bloody lightning. He called San Jose an SH1T hole. He mentioned CM Punk, which I'm going straight to Emma after this. I'm sorry, Keith, and I'll get to you in a second because obviously you're a massive CM Punk. But he did, Emma, he pointed out something that is very valid and it's a good argument in it, right? He says you've got 283 things that are available on shop.com, WWEshop.com. Your t-shirt, your jacket, you're out sporting that. And he said, where does that money go? Does that money go into the bank accounts of those who are the needy, who would like to get to WrestleMania and buy those tickets? Or does that go into CM Punk's bank account? And then he proceeds to say 25% off Saturday night WrestleMania tickets because me mates at Ram are going to cover it. Mwah! Mwah! Phenomenal. Emma, before we get into the Cody stuff, what did you think of what he said about about CM Punk? I mean, not a bad point.
It's actually not. Now, you know what, people probably know this, but like I literally have a Pepsi tattoo on my ribs that I got when I had interacted with CM Punk in Amsterdam. He literally saw my sign saying, "We're here from Ireland for you, Punk," and he like pointed and interacted it. And like I'm that much of a fan, I got the Pepsi tattoo. So if that doesn't say something, but you know what, Pat McAfee, if you're watching, that promo was great. Do I agree you should be in the story? I don't know, but the promo was lightning. Like I was sitting there like, okay, this is very good. And the point that he made was actually one of the reasons why I was like, oh, you know, like I feel like CM Punk's character had changed a lot, and I think that put it in perspective for people who are huge fans of him, because you know the voice of the voiceless and stuff. And then when he said about, does the money go there or does it go to the Saudi Arabia? And I was like, oh,
when he brought that up,
even like I was just like, my sister was like, oh, Emma, that's kind of, that's not, you know what, that's he's right there. And I think that's what makes a good promo, is that he touched on that. He knew like this is going to get the fans like going, this is going to make them think. And I think that was great. I think the promo was just, I wasn't expecting to like it, but I was like, you know what, that was good. It was very, very good. It was electric. Like,
I mean, look, it's one of these situations where the end absolutely has to justify the means, right? So it's easy for us to sit back and say, this is crap, this is not good. But to Niall's point, if the end justifies the means, we might be saying, oh my God, maybe Pat was a pawn in this all of the time. And we think that he is, based on a few things that he said about, I'm receiving orders from somebody who's bigger than you, much more of a star than you. And that doesn't say a board of director. That to me, well, it does say one member of the board of director, who is Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, who Keith, you touched on. But Cody came out with some good points as well. The Attitude Era was 30 years ago. Randy Orton was in high school when he watched it. But then when Pat turned around and said, hey, walk away, doing an elite walk away, Stardust, I was like, oh my God, he's going to kick his head in. And that's how you do it. I mean, look, Randy Orton would come out then, there'd be the jelly roll thing, the mention of the IWC, and then a bit of a beat down and a back and forward. That's how you do it. Keith, what did you think?
I didn't like it. I didn't like this at all. No.
Yes. Okay. Brilliant. All right.
Okay.
I'm strapped in. Keith, tell us why you didn't like it.
I'll give you a reason why I didn't like it. It's just, I feel I like Pat McAfee when he's at the desk and he's getting everybody hyped, and he's really good at that. Like, he's really good as a babyface. I just feel with Pat McAfee, it's so forced with him being a heel. I think he's uncomfortable being a heel. I don't think he likes being a heel by the looks of it. That's just my opinion. Now, look, I just thought this whole segment was too long. I didn't enjoy it. I'm not. Before the whole Pat McAfee came in, I was enjoying the Randy Orton and Cody stuff. But ever since this happened, it's like it's taken away from it. It's kind of feeling like it's like they're focusing more on Pat McAfee than they are with Randy Orton or with Cody Rhodes, to be honest with you. And I don't think that should be the case. I think what they should have been doing was leading to the legacy of the last 20 years with the two and talking about the legacy and different things. I just don't like this. I don't think Pat McAfee is a great heel. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand what you're saying. He had made some good points, but I just think it's very forced for him being a heel. And I thought when he's bringing out he's bringing out this announcement, and it's like 25% off WrestleMania. It's like, lads, like, come on, like, is this like begging to get tickets at this point? Like, that's what it felt like to me.
I don't think that was the announcement. Well, you could argue that it was, but I think the announcement was that if Randy Orton wins, no, if Randy Orton loses, if he doesn't walk out as interesting words actually. He said if he doesn't walk out as WWE champion, so there's no win or loss there. Read into that as you will. He said Pat McAfee will never step foot in the WWE again under any circumstances, under any role.
Yeah,
I think that was I think that was the announcement. So I think Randy's going to win as well, but there's some people saying that maybe Cody does win because you know yourself. I mean, and
Randy?
I
That's
know
you, Bren. That's you, Bren,
Yeah.
hoping for that little wish.
No, Bren.
I know. Here, listen, and I'm going to say this once, and when Drew McIntyre, and we were doing that watch along, and Drew McIntyre won, there was a lot of
That was
get
so
up now,
funny.
that.
Yeah.
But then when Cody won it back, zipper, I heard nothing. Yous all went running. Yous all, I don't include you in that, Emma, because you've been quite nice about it. But you, Keith, Niall, Dave was actually quite nice about it. Sean O.
That's not like
mm-mm.
Dave.
Hey, you leave Dave alone. you leave my scrub buddy alone. Look, that's a cool take, Keith. I actually understand where you're coming from, but I can't ignore how good this promo was. It was just so good. It's like one of these things. It's like when Logan Paul came into WWE, you're like, oh, I can't stand that guy. And then it's like, oh, he's so good. I can't. And I disagree with you about the promo. I don't like the whole kind of, I'm a bad guy now, so I wear sunglasses, but that's
But did
semantics.
you see the point when they came out and he's giving him the finger and they had to go to the black screen straight away when they did that?
But that's what makes it good.
I know.
Like he's coursing, he's saying that, and that's what makes it good, and that's what makes it cool. And like what Emma said there, it's really, really enjoyable. And by the sounds of things, obviously Emma, and I understand why Emma wants Cody to lose this one. Am I correct in saying the Keating household will be cheering for Randy Orton?
My sister every year. I'm gonna have to go now in a minute, but before I go, my sister every year makes Randy Orton posters and bracelets.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't win, it's gonna be yeah.
Well, we have to ask. We have to ask. 2 seconds, Keith. We do have to ask. Will there be multiple Randy Orton bracelets, and is there one for everybody in the audience? If you know, you know.
You know what? Next time I go visit Niall, I'll drop in a few bracelets for everyone.
You're an absolute diamond. Keith, take over there. You have a question for Emma.
Yeah, no, before she goes, because we're going to talk about WrestleMania. What's your dark match? 2 dark matches for night 1 and 2.
What he means, because dark match, Keith, is
dark horse match. Sorry, yeah, dark horse match.
I mean, what do you think is going to be a match that we don't expect to be good? That's going to be good. I think. Do you have that, or are you just optimistic overall?
I think I'm optimistic because I feel like, again, like I'm a huge fan of women in wrestling. I think the women are just going to completely dominate it. One match that and I can't believe I'm saying this, CM Punk and Roman as well. Oh, I have a bad feeling Roman will win, and I'm saying that wearing a Roman Reigns hoodie right now.
I don't think so, Emma.
Yeah, I really hope. I hope
don't
CM
think
Punk.
So.
Yeah, but again, I wish that Tiffany was in WrestleMania. I really do, because I feel like she brings the energy, and like obviously, like I am a fan of her. I wouldn't be completely like she's my favorite or anything, but I feel like even her WrestleMania entrances, it gets you hyped. She's so talented. But yeah.
100%. And to me, let's hope the entire card is good. I
Yeah,
do agree with you with Julia. I mean, and let's hope the entire card is good. It's not a great sentence, to be fair. We're obviously we obviously want this to be one of the best WrestleManias. On paper, it looks phenomenal.
yeah,
Like Cody Rhodes, like the hero himself said a few months ago, don't sleep on this WrestleMania. I'm right enough within a few weeks. Cody Rhodes, the golden child, one of the greatest of all time, the son of a plumber, the grandson of a plumber, said don't sleep on the card. So there you go.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think it looks good. We will get more into it in Pro Wrestling Weekly. Emma, I know you
yeah.
have to go now. It's been
Yes.
an absolute pleasure. We will see you on
Thanks,
Pro
guys.
Wrestling Weekly, if not
Bye.
Have fun.
thereafter. Thanks for joining
Thanks
us.
for
All the
everyone.
best.
Enjoy, guys.
See you
Bye.
later. Cool. Yeah, good having Emma there, and obviously we'll have her on Pro Wrestling Weekly as well. But Keith, let us continue onwards, right? Um, I need to know. I still think the Miz is kind of hard done by, but I kind of understand. It's one of these things where Noel brought up about Chelsea Green.
Hmm.
He's making bank. He doesn't care. That's it. He's involved in it. He cares about wrestling. He loves wrestling, and what he's in. I think he deserves better. This whole course thing. How do you feel about it, actually? Now that I have your 1-to-1, how do you feel about? Do you think it's a bit hokey? Are you in on the comedy, or are you just kind of like this shouldn't exist?
Are you talking like in general with the whole hokey stuff, or just with this match that he had on
I'm
SmackDown?
talking about like we'll get to the match now in a minute.
Yeah.
Just with
In general, like I think I'm enjoying it. Like it's a good way of advertising it. It's a good way of showing him off to the fans because let's think he's not going to be wrestling every week, so they're going to have to use him somehow,
hmm
backstage. I do like it. Now I do feel that they need to be careful with him as well because they don't want to oversaturate him as well, and then the fans will get sick of him because you know what the fans are like nowadays. They're very fickle and they can turn on you within a fucking dime. But what they're doing so far is brilliant. I actually really enjoy it. And I was going for the Miz. I just think the Miz at this point in his career, he's coming towards the back end of his career now. So like he's done it all. Like, and I agree with you. He should be pursued a lot better on the actual show itself. Like even put him in a US title picture or something like that, or whatever. Like a good feud. Because let's face it, he probably doesn't have many years left in him. But what he's
Okay.
doing so far is, I'm enjoying it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna get to the match now in a minute. Before we do, Jacob Fatu versus Tamatonga. Obviously the winner being Jacob Fatu. But
Yeah.
look, this match was pretty cool. Don't like the poxy face paint. However,
Mhm.
another old school reference, in my opinion, Drew McIntyre came out after Jacob wins and he attacks him, right? Takes out the handcuffs, and I immediately think of the big boss man. From
Yeah.
Davey Boy Smith near the start
Yeah.
to the big. So basically, Jacob got a big boss man beatdown, right?
Mhm.
What did you think of this segment?
Loved it.
It's further on. I thought this was
Loved
very
it.
well done.
Brilliant. It's probably one of the highlights of the whole show. Absolutely loved it. It's like there hasn't been a bad week with these two guys. I feel like every week there's always something different. There's always something fresh they're coming up with this storyline, and it's making me
Mhm.
really enjoy watching this match. Because let's face it, I think this match is going to get about 40 minutes, maybe something like that. They're going to
Yeah.
go around the whole building and all this and throw each other tables and all. It's going to be great. Now, I did find out throughout this whole match that it's going to be on ESPN. Now, ESPN do not allow blood.
I
So,
did not know that.
yeah.
I did
So
not know that.
they might not allow this to have blood in the match.
Wow.
That's what I,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, they said it's within the first hour. They didn't say it's the first match. So what they might do is they might cut that match. And look, here's the thing with blood. My opinion on blood is it's not always necessary. In fact,
No.
I don't really care about blood in a match. Don't get me wrong. It can help some things. Like, does Steve Austin shoot up to stardom as quick as he does? I personally think he would have if his face wasn't full of blood at WrestleMania 13 as he collapses, as Bret Hart has him in the sharpshooter. Maybe, maybe not. But blood, I think it's an interesting topic, and I think we should talk about it in the coming weeks. But
Mm.
that is interesting. I had no idea, but let's see what happens.
I enjoyed
Um,
it. Great. I thought the segment was brilliant. Promo was brilliant as well from Drew. Everything. I loved it.
Speaking of, I'll go back to comedy here. I just need to give a shout out to R-Truth. He had a backstage segment,
I
and he was
drafted this
explaining.
man.
He's explaining right to Danhausen how to get Basically
Yeah.
how to order WrestleMania on ESPN. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely
Brilliant.
phenomenal. Loved it. But the thing that cracked me up the most, because at the end we see Rhea Ripley throw B-Fab into something. And he said, I guess she doesn't want her in Judgment Day anymore. And I was like, this is brilliant. He's absolutely phenomenal. Danhausen was lightning here, and I thought it was cool. So I just wanted to throw that out here before I get
Can
into.
I mention that as well? That segment backstage. I've been waiting since Danhausen appeared. I've been waiting for weeks to see those two together backstage because they'd be absolutely gold together.
It looks like that's the direction they're going, because when Damien Priest walks into it, he's like, "Oh, should I even ask what's going on here?" It's like, and again, when R-Truth was calling Danhausen Oscar last week, and he's like, "You thought it was Oscar last week?" And he's like, "No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I've no idea what you're talking about." Mwah, mwah. Phenomenal. A Sean O chef's kiss. Mwah. Well done. Well done. Sami Zayn, Trick Williams. Me and you have very different opinions on Sami Zayn at the moment. Not in general,
Mhm.
not as a whole. I understand that you appreciate Sami Zayn. I thought Sami Zayn was brilliant here. It's very similar to Bret Hart. He just didn't lie to the fans. He said, "What did I do? I haven't done that. And boo me if you want. I don't care. I kicked somebody whilst the referee was looking after him. So bleeding. What? So what?" Um, the lemon pepper steppers. I thought this is where I thought the little boat guy was really good here when he was saying, he's like, "You can take inches away from." I don't know what he said there, but it sounded dodgy. But he's like, "And you can take the lemon pepper. Actually, you can't take the lemon pepper steppers away." Trick Williams is an absolute freaking superstar. I say it every week, but every week he just blows me away. Absolutely phenomenal here. And I went straight into the match with Mark Cardona, which he did win. So, what did you think about the whole segment overall? Result was never in question. The match was what it was. Trick Williams is a superstar. Little Boat was really good here, whether you like him or don't like him. Again, not a fan of that. What did you think, man?
The match was all right overall. I think, to be honest with you, Trick is just amazing. Like, you know, he's going to be a future main eventer. I think within the next year or two, that guy's going to hold the belt. I feel.
Don't strap the rocket to him. He's driving the rocket. Trick Williams is driving the rocket.
Yeah,
He
he is.
he is the centerfold to the success of WWE in the future.
I
was
have a
right.
prediction on this though for the match. Like, I don't want it to happen because I'm afraid my prediction might come true, and I hope it doesn't. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sammy wins this purely on the fact that they're going to thrive on this hatred that the fans hate with him at the moment and develop the character development out of it, of him
Yeah,
turning heel eventually.
I think so. Look, it's on the way. The fans are booing. They're gonna. Well, I hope they listen to the fans, and I hope Sammy goes in that direction. I personally like Sammy. I like when Sammy's on the TV. I understand some perspectives on it, but Sammy to me is an all rounder. He's a good talker. He's amazing in the ring. He's put on some of the best matches that I've ever seen. And before you say it, Niall, I'll give you my top 5 on another show. And basically, I think he's an all-rounder. He's very, very good. But look, this was
He
what it
done well to
was
sell the match. He done well to sell this match for
for
Mania.
sure, for
Do you
sure.
know, he did,
And
yeah.
look, Cardona got a match. They're kind of protecting him a bit, saying that his arm is still injured from the Randy Orton thing. Hopefully, Cardona gets a bit more of a push after WrestleMania.
Man, what are they doing with Cardona? Ever since he came back, he's just kind of been doing nothing really.
But here's the thing. I like Mark Cardona. I liked Zack Ryder, right? However, I mean, I think he's in the right role at the moment. You know what I mean?
Well, that's not that degree. I'm like, not disputing that, like, you know, but
I think he's in the right road. He left WWE. He went to some kind of GCW kind of crap, and yeah, I said it, Sean Mack. He had some of the death matches, King of the Death Match, King of me arse. The death matches can get effed. I'm not a fan of them.
yeah,
Never was,
no,
never will be. So
no.
look, he garnered like he's a marketing genius. He's very good at what he does. However, you could never stick the WWE title on that guy. But like Noel said, and I keep mentioning him in this podcast, but like Noel said, there's a role for that. And look, if Matt's happy, I'm happy as well. Because like I don't think obviously Matt seems like a good dude. I will say this: I got my picture taken with Zack Ryder about 20 years ago, right? Beth Phoenix was there as well, and he didn't seem too pleased to see me. That's what I will say.
Did you say to
Look,
him?
no, I didn't say anything to him. Maybe it was how I looked, because then Beth Phoenix told me I looked like the Miss at the time. Now, obviously, I've aged greatly since then. I'm not the young, handsome buck that I used to be.
The young
I'm
handsome
not a young.
Miz.
I'm not a young buck at all. Don't ever put me in that category. But either way, all messing aside, look, I wish Cardona the best. He's one of the good guys that again I
Mhm.
mentioned earlier on. He's passionate about wrestling. He loves wrestling. He's a historian as well. He's a great collector. So look, and again, look, if they do put the title on, I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope he gets on the mic and says, "Hey, Bren, you haven't got a clue what you're talking
No.
about, buddy." To which I'll say,
But going
"Yes,
back to the quickly going back to the Sami Zayn and Trick thing,
yep,
it will be a good match. It will be a
yeah,
good
I think
match, I
so."
think, and they will make the
It,
most of it, however many minutes to get.
like Sami Zayn or don't like him, he is going to be a key factor in making in making that match, in making Trick Williams look $1 million, and that's all there is to it. And
Yeah,
and look, we'll talk about it. We'll be live on the night WrestleMania watch along. We will be live. We'll be
we'll also be
watching it.
doing predictions as well on Tuesday or Wednesday about it.
Good Wednesday, by the way. I just got word it's Wednesday. Yep,
Okay.
I got word there. It's Wednesday. Good, bad, or indifferent, we will have a blast watching WrestleMania. But before we do, the man from 1311 Mockingbird Lane, Danhausen, has his first WWE official match against against Kit Wilson, and he cursed him halfway through the pyrotech. I laughed out loud at that. I was like, that is hilarious. The match was what it was. It was a bit of crack. It is what it is. What did you think?
Do you know what? I actually enjoyed this little storyline, to be honest with you, with Danhausen, Kit Wilson, and The Miz, because they seem to gel very well all together. Now,
Yeah.
look, as you know, I'm not really a Kit Wilson fan. I can't really connect with him, but he does a good job in selling in the match, and he does a good job of putting over Danhausen as well.
Mhm.
And like Niall says, you need to have these type of wrestlers in the company to further on the next person. But I do feel that it's. I was actually shocked to see that we got a Danhausen match. To be honest with you, this week I was like, oh,
And
I was
Royce
like,
Keys.
and I know we're kind of expecting Royce Keys because that was
Mm.
leaked, wasn't it, online? But I was more
Uh,
shocked with Danhausen. I was like, oh, we're actually getting a match. It's like, okay, be interesting
Look,
to see.
power to him. It was good to see him.
Yeah.
Kit Wilson, an absolute diamond during this, and it cannot be understated how good Kit Wilson is at the moment. Because again, it's one of these things where he's invested in his role. He's doing so well, and he's smashing it. So I'm absolutely delighted for that. We're going to talk about WrestleMania after we finish up on the main event on SmackDown. But at the moment, there's 13 matches for WrestleMania. I think the Oscar, like I think they're missing Oscar on the card. I'll have a look at the card now in a second. I'm not
Yeah, it
sure.
is. Yeah.
There's a couple of things, and certainly, like you said, the Julia and Tiffany Stratton, or like Sean O said, match is missing for the US title, which is a
Mhm.
damn shame. We will get to that, but before we do, Jade Cargill beats Io Sky. Look, I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan of this match. It was what it was. It's a lackluster kind of match that I expect from Jade Cargill. I think this title run has hurt Jade Cargill more than it has elevated her. I don't necessarily think the title got devalued in any way, but it certainly didn't get escalated either. And I think it hurt Jade Cargill because it exposed her. And I think these matches are kind of lackluster. And I don't think she was ready to get such a big push at the time. And I think that
Mm.
time should have been more invested in kind of honing in on what she has. Because I do look at Jade Cargill, and I did, in my opinion, as a wrestling fan, there's a lot for her there. I think there's a lot of potential for her there um, to be offered. And this is me, who's never, I've stepped into a wrestling ring, but this is Johnny bloody worst wrestler in the world if I was a wrestler. But I wasn't a fan of this. And I don't think this elevator. And look, it ended up being a face off between Jade and Io, not Jade, sorry, between
Rhea.
Rhea and Jade to end the show. Fine. SmackDown ends, and it kind of ends a bit lackluster. And overall, to be honest with you, I thought this SmackDown, there was too many peaks and valleys. I wasn't mad on the episode. There were some really excellent bits that I was like, that's deadly. But I wasn't over the moon with the episode. And mind you, I did sound overly positive throughout the podcast, but I am trying to be a positive beat on the road to WrestleMania. What did you think at the end?
I've kind of checked out, to be honest with you, over this storyline. And to be quite honest with you,
Sorry to cut over you. What do you mean you've checked out? You've currently checked into the SmackDown Motel. Poor choice of wording, but fire away, Keith.
Sorry, Bren, sorry. I meant to say I'm not invested in this storyline. I should have said. I'm not really invested in the storyline, to be honest with you. It's probably the only match out of the whole 13, 14 matches I'm not really looking forward to watch, be quite honest with you. As look, it's no fault of Rhea's. I love Rhea. I've said it, she's the best female wrestler they have in the business at the moment. 100%. I just can't get behind this. I think it's been badly booked throughout the whole time they've been announced this match. This whole B-Fab and Meechin thing, nobody really cares about them, to be quite honest with you. Never made sense to begin with. Look, yeah, it wasn't a great match. Io Sky not being on the card is crazy, to be honest with you. It's crazy.
Criminal. It's criminal.
It's criminal that she's not on it. And for someone else with talent,
criminal.
Yeah. And you know as well, obviously we forgot to touch base. Sorry, just going back a bit for the Trick Williams and Sammy thing. It's obviously clear to us now that Carmelo Hayes is not going to be involved in that either. Over the backstage segment they had.
Good point, and he really should be. But you know, that's another shame because he's worked his arse off. Again, I think somebody who's not elevated the US title, but I think it's shown the best of him, to be honest with you. And the fact that he's not part of WrestleMania, like you say, it's a real shame. It
is, and it's the amount of talent that's not going to be involved. Like I know they have such a big plethora of huge talent in their pool of roster.
Well, I will say this, Keith. They'll get them involved somehow. They'll be shown.
Because sure, there's the Andre the Giant Battle Royal next week, so they'll probably be bumped to that.
well, let's get into SmackDown next week, and then we get into WrestleMania. Just real quick, Andre the Giant Battle Royals on SmackDown next week. So that's either going to be the start of it or the end of SmackDown. There's the 8-man street fight, the Wyatt 6 versus the MFTs. Good Jesus. So we're going to have it. Well, look, we're going to be live. We're going to be excited because it's the road to WrestleMania. And this day next week will be WrestleMania. And rumor has it that we're going to have Dave with us live next week. Subject to change. I can't confirm it. I'm excited. No, but it is subject to change based on Dave's plans that evening. However, I would love to see Dave on. It would be great to have him on. And then there's going to be Raw and SmackDown Superstars live. So you can imagine SmackDown's going to be full of brawls, full of no ends and all that. And again, I could be wrong, but we will be live next Saturday going through SmackDown. But we will also be live. And Keith, if you don't mind, we're going to go straight into WrestleMania because this day next week, we will be getting ready for the night 1 watch along and then the following night 2 watch along. So we will be live. We will be live on the Upper Tier channel watching along WrestleMania. And like I always say with the watch-alongs, good, bad, or indifferent, they're always a blast, regardless of whether the event, because we've sat through bad events and we've sat through good events, but no matter what, it's always an absolute blast. So do join us. We're going to be live a half an hour before WrestleMania kicks off. So it'll be somewhat of a kickoff show on the Upper Tier. So do join us for the watch along. We're going to have a few guests on and it's going to be great crack. So night 1, I think WrestleMania starts at 11 o'clock European time. So we'll be live half an hour before that. So we'll be live at 10:30 over here in Europe. And if you're in any other parts of the country, I'm bad at maths. Carol Vorderman, I am not. Do the maths there, and we will be we will be live half an hour beforehand. There's a couple of matches missing, but that's the graphic we have for the for each watch along, and we will be live on the Upper Tier channel. Keith, talk to me. WrestleMania, it's coming up. What do you want to say?
I'm just going to talk about what the dark horse match could be for yourself, for myself, because there's always one dark horse match every year at WrestleMania that nobody thinks about and thinks it's going to be shit, but ends up being a stellar match. To be honest with you, can you just bring up the thing again, if you don't mind, just so I don't forget what's on there?
I can indeed. And I also took the liberty of taking a list of the matches here, so I am looking down at a list of the matches. So,
so what's one are we missing out on then?
I don't know offhand, but look, based on what you're looking at, and then I'll go through the list. Talk to us about what's going to be rate or slate, basically. What's going to be a highlight? Do you think that's an unexpected highlight, and what's going to be the actual highlight in your opinion?
So for night 1, I think, look, I'm going to be biased on this because I have thing on, but for me, I think it's a sleeper match. I think the Stephanie and Liv thing is going to be outstanding. I really do. I think the two of them are very good in the ring. I think Stephanie's in the top 3 or at least the top 5 best women wrestlers in the ring. Yeah, not on the mic, but just in the ring. So they can pull off a stellar match here. I'm going for that one as a dark horse match.
Yeah.
Look, I think I'm not really overly. I can't really get overly invested in the AJ Lee Becky stuff. But in saying that, though, with it being WrestleMania, they could go to the next level and they could shock us, and we could end up being a really good match. To be honest
Yep.
with you, do you know? I think the
Yep.
standout is going to be Drew and Jacob. I think that's going to be the big standout for night one. Um,
Okay.
yeah, what do you think for night one yourself?
I think the dark horse matches, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I actually agree with you. I was actually leaning more towards Becky and AJ Lee. I think that match is going to be absolutely outstanding. I think those
Yeah,
girls are going to put on an absolute stellar, and I think it's going to be one of the matches of the night. And I don't think there's a lot of expectation behind it, so I do agree with you on that. In terms of the actual match of the night for night one, I think the conclusion, if I'm right, of the Randy Orton and Cody match is going to blow us away. If I'm right, and we'll
yeah,
get more. We'll get into it in Pro Wrestling Weekly. I think the actual conclusion and the highlight of the night is going to be that. That said, I'm going to go on a limb here and another match as well. I may as well say Gunther versus Seth Rollins. That's going to be unbelievable. They
yeah.
literally had about 3 seconds on Raw, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh my god. That there's something there. There's a spark there, and they're
Yeah.
gonna. That's another show stealer. All in all, I think the card as a whole is phenomenal. Even if you go to night two, the only match that could really let us down on night two is Rhea versus Jade
Jade.
Cargill. That's the only match that could let us down because even on night one, LA Knight and the Usos versus Jimmy no LA Knight and the Usos versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory and I Show Speed, which is a ridiculous name, but he has a phenomenal following. I think that's going to be good as well. I honestly, Keith, in terms of right or slate, it's very hard to right or slate any match on night two because
Mm.
I think night two is going to be absolutely phenomenal, bell to bell. Only match that could potentially let us down is the Rhea match, and that's it. I think
That
everything else checks in.
I'm really looking forward to that ladder match. That's going to be a stellar match, to be honest with
I,
you.
we're in for a treat.
Yeah.
Look, Keith, WrestleMania overall on paper looks incredible, and I can't wait for the watch along. Here's the thing: it's up to WWE now to let us down. We're no strangers to WWE letting us down. We're no strangers to conclusions just being like, what? WrestleMania is supposed to be the conclusion. It's supposed to be the end of the WWE season. Everything has to be tied up. All the knots has to be
Mhm.
tied up. I'd like to find out who attacked Jacob Fatu the night of WrestleMania. Maybe we will. Maybe that's how Drew wins. Maybe
Mhm.
the true attacker shows themselves. Something along the lines of that. So I want all of the knots tied. I want every conclusion done. And I want Raw to be a clean slate because let's face it, WWE have been peaks and valleys. They've been ups and downs. They're very Katy Perry,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
hot and cold. Not cool WWE. So let's start on a good foot. So let's have a great watch along for WrestleMania night one. Let's enjoy WrestleMania night two. And here's hoping that Raw, because Raw after WrestleMania historically is incredible. It's different, but the last few years it's been a letdown. So let's start off hot this year, WWE. Let's do this. Noel is over in Las Vegas for WrestleMania.
Mhm.
If he's not at WrestleMania, he could be joining us for night one of the watch along. But he will be at WrestleMania for night two, and he may very well pop onto the live after WrestleMania, depending on the crowd. So let's see what happens. It should be good. So overall, Keith, I think Pro Wrestling Weekly is going out this Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have an absolute blast on it. It's going to be a bit longer than this show. And we're going to really get into WrestleMania. We're going to really get into the weeds of it. We're going to see what's hot, what's not, rate or slate. Let's get into it. But overall, like I said, I thought SmackDown was, again, peaks and valleys. I think WrestleMania looks really, really good. Take us home, Keith. SmackDown
I
overall, and then your opinion on WrestleMania.
Yeah, so for SmackDown, I think obviously they have one more week to build it up, but what they really need to do is, if going further into WrestleMania for next year, they need to have, if they're going to be building each show, they need to have a level and not one being good and one being shit, because that's not going to help each of the matches they're going to be building for the WrestleMania. For if it's 17, or sorry, for 13 or 14 matches, they need to have consistency every single week with the show. And it feels like over the last while, the Raw's had a bit of consistency, then SmackDown had a bit, and then it's fallen down, and then it
Peaks and
happens,
valleys.
yeah, peaks and valleys. But there needs to be a bit more consistency. For next week, look, it could be a filler show for all we know because WrestleMania is that night, so they might not give a shit about SmackDown that night. Who knows? Hopefully not. I'm wrong. Ends up being a stellar show. For WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania. What can you say? We're all gonna be
Let's
excited
have
for
a blast.
WrestleMania. Let's have a blast. Let's all get in, relax, fucking get the popcorn out, get whatever you fucking want out. Get your battery acid fucking cola out if you want to. There you go. Plug it there for next week, lad.
Thank you, Sharon and Anto. So there'll be some. We will have dry rolls. We'll have ZX Cola, but above all else, we will have a blast of a night.
It's
WrestleMania
going to
watch
be
along.
WrestleMania. Yeah, we
Do
without a
join
doubt.
us.
Yeah, I'm stoked for. I'm hope it flies in because I'm dying to watch it now at this point. But in saying that as well, this like you're saying about WrestleMania, this has to hit because when you're looking at it, it's such a stacked card, and as well as that, if it hits, it could be just as good as WrestleMania 17. It could be,
100%.
do you know, it has the potential.
100%. And like I always say, good, bad, or indifferent, it's going to be a blast. So do
Yeah,
join us. We will wrap up now. So thanks everybody for watching. As always, like I always say, or like Noel always says, drop a like on the video. Very important. More importantly, subscribe to the channel, the upper tier channel. Hit that bell notification
yeah.
because it's
Join us for
WrestleMania
WrestleMania.
week. It's going to be a blast. We're going to do the watch along. There's going to be some wrestling shows. There's going to be some football shows. Again, as I always say, I'm not Johnny Football, but those football shows are an absolute blast. Noel, does Noel do any watch alongs? I believe he does. He
I
might
don't
be doing
think
a few more
so.
watch alongs. Keep an eye on it. The hardest working man in podcasting next to Keith, the other hardest working man in podcasting. So do join us, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification. As always, drop a like on the video. I can't wait. This is it. This is the road to
Next
WrestleMania.
week.
The channel's going to be a blast. Pro Wrestling Weekly will go out Wednesday. It's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. So from myself, from Keith, good night, God bless, and we will see you on the next show. Thanks a million, everybody.
Take it easy.